Introduction. Picture the crisp, early morning air of a Spartan hillside, where the first light slices the horizon and a group of warriors in simple leather caps and sandals gather for their daily ritual. At the same time, in the heart of the Aztec Empire, high priests and nobility stand in the courtyard of a temple, offering prayers and singing hymns that echo through the jungle. Although these cultures are separated by continents and centuries, they share a devotion to ritual that builds a spirit of resilience, confidence, and an unshakable mindset. Today, we will explore how the disciplined practice of these ancient traditions can serve as a blueprint for modern success, creativity, and personal growth. Along the way, we will highlight Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy that has guided leaders from emperors to CEOs. By blending ancient rituals with Stoic principles, you will discover how to train your mind to stay calm, clear, and purposeful, no matter what challenges come your way. Philosophy Spotlight: Stoicism. Stoicism, born in Athens in the 3rd century BCE, was refined by thinkers such as Zeno, Epictetus, Seneca, and later Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Its core message is simple yet profound. We cannot control external events, but we can control our judgments and reactions. By focusing on what is within our power, our thoughts, intentions, and actions, we can cultivate resilience, freedom, and peace. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, repeatedly reminds himself that the impediment to action advances action. In other words, obstacles are not enemies, they are opportunities to practice virtue, patience, and perspective. From this philosophy, we extract 3 practical lessons. 1. Control only what you can. When faced with a demanding project or a heated debate, we can neither dictate the other's behavior nor the outcome of the market. Our control lies in how we respond. 2. View adversity as practice. Every setback, whether a failed presentation or a missed deadline, is a chance to refine your character, just as a Spartan training session polishes a swordsman. 3. Live in accord with nature. Stoicism teaches that we should align ourselves with the natural flow of the world. When you accept the inevitable ebb and flow of business cycles or life circumstances, you avoid frustration and cultivate inner calm. These insights will thread through all our chapters, grounding the rituals of Spartans and Aztecs in a philosophy that remains relevant for entrepreneurs, managers, students, and everyday seekers of growth. Chapter 1. Title: The Dawn Drill Discipline That Resounds. In the thick of the Athenian battlefield, before dawn, the Spartan hoplites would line up, shuffle their spears and shields, and practice the drachma, the march that demanded perfect timing, breath, and posture. They repeated this drill not once but thousands of times until it became muscle memory. The Aztecs, too, performed daily Tlamatcatl rituals, waking early to sing praises and honor Quetzalcoatl, reinforcing communal solidarity and internal focus. The moral of the Spartan march is clear. Confidence is forged by discipline. When you train your body and mind to perform a task with precision, you reinforce your belief that you can master any challenge. The Aztec practice teaches that discipline is communal. Your confidence gains strength when shared with others. Practical lesson for today. In modern life, whether you're launching a startup, delivering a sales pitch, or studying a new language, consistency builds trust, both in others and in yourself. Establish a habit that aligns with your goal: a 30-minute morning workout, a daily email to a mentor, a nightly review of accomplishments. Example to apply today. Choose one activity that feels relevant to your current goal. For 15 days, commit to doing it at the same time each day, even if the motivation is low on some days. Track the progress in a simple journal. Notice how over time that activity becomes part of your routine and your confidence grows because you no longer need permission to act. Your discipline has become automatic. Conclusion. Discipline is not a distant ideal. It is the tangible act of making choices deliberately, day after day. The Spartan March and Aztec hymn both remind us that confidence is a train, and the rhythm of consistent effort pulls it forward. Call to action. If you value discipline growth, hit the like button and share this practice with a friend who could use a boost. Subscribe and follow for more ancient wisdom turned actionable steps. Reflective question. When did you last practice a discipline that felt both challenging and rewarding? How did that consistency influence your sense of confidence? Chapter 2. Title: The Shadow of the Sun, Facing Fear with Stoic Equanimity. During the winter solstice, a Spartan captain would lead his men across a barren plain where the sun barely rose. Standing in the darkness, the captain would remind his soldiers, "What you do here matters, not what you fear." Similarly, the Aztec priests would climb the jaguar-shaped temple, confronting the heat and the insects, all while whispering prayers for protection. In both cases, fear was not avoided. It was confronted in a measured, purposeful way. Insightful lesson. Fear often stems from the unknown. By facing it gradually, you strip it of its power. Stoicism recommends that you separate what you dread from what you control. The Spartans' march across the sunless plain taught them to treat fear as a companion in training, ever present but never dominating. Likewise, modern believers in Stoic practice observe that anxiety is a natural reaction and not a verdict of ability. How to use it today. Implement a shadow session. Identify the most daunting element of your current project. Maybe it's a critical client call, a difficult conversation, or a presentation. In a quiet moment, mentally rehearse the scenario. Visualize yourself engaging calmly, focusing on the specific steps you can take. This mental rehearsal reduces the future fear response and builds confidence. Example: you're required to negotiate a contract that feels risky. Before the meeting, write down the best-case outcome, the worst-case scenario, and the actions you can take in each instance. When you sit at the table, reference this plan. Your confidence rises because you're prepared for every curveball, mirroring the Spartans' calm march through darkness. Conclusion. Facing fear head-on with a stoic calm removes its grip. Spartan courage was not a lack of fear, but a focus on what could be achieved rather than on what might doom you. The modern equivalent is the disciplined rehearsal that turns anxiety into opportunity. Call to action. Like the video if shadow shaping helped you, share it with a colleague who struggles with fear. Subscribe for a consistent flow of tools that transform fear into advantage. Reflective question. What fear has been holding you back the most lately? And how could a short, focused rehearsal change your perspective? Chapter 3. Title: The Feast of Honor, Celebrating Small Wins with Gratitude. One of the essential rituals in Spartan culture was the Baunikion, a festival celebrated when a warship returned safely from a raid. Soldiers would gather, share a meal, and sing praises, reinforcing a collective narrative of bravery and honor. In the Aztec world, after a successful harvest or a successful rite, the community gathered for a feast, offering thanks to the gods and to each other. The point is that celebration is not a sign of complacency. It is an affirmation of progress. Both cultures recognized that honoring achievements keeps morale high and motivation sustaining. Stoic tie-in. Stoicism values gratitude and recognizes that our worth is not tied to external accolades, but to internal virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a good life is one based on virtue, not on triumphs. Yet he also noted that acknowledging small victories is essential for maintaining resilience. Applying celebration today. Take a few minutes at the end of each day or week to list at least 3 achievements, however minor. Reflect on how those successes tie into your larger goals. This practice is akin to a small victory feast that acknowledges the effort and cultivates a positive feedback loop. Concrete example. You've been developing a new product feature, and you finally hit a milestone, like completing the first prototype. Write a short note. Today I integrated the user interface and reduced load time by 30%. This step brings us closer to launch. Share the note with your team or post it in a shared channel. The celebratory act acknowledges progress and motivates the next step, just as the Spartan feast would remind the warriors of their collective success. Conclusion. Acknowledge what you've achieved, no matter how small. By celebrating, you maintain momentum, encourage consistent improvement, and uphold the Stoic belief that virtue is cultivated through steady practice. Call to action. Give this gratitude challenge a try, hit like, and share your first small win in the comments. Subscribe or follow to keep receiving strategies that turn daily tasks into rewarding rituals. Reflective question. When did you last consciously celebrate a small win, and how did it influence your motivation in the following days? Chapter 4. Title: The Mirror of the Gods, Self-Reflection to Shape Purpose. The Spartans had an unspoken tradition. After drills and battles, a veteran would sit alone in the shade, reflect on the day's lessons, and adjust his strategies. This reflective practice aligned with the Stoic idea that we must constantly evaluate our actions to live in accordance with reason. The Aztecs practiced tilamazalan, a ritual of self-contemplation during the night when the stars were brightest, believing the cosmos could guide the introspective mind. Lesson for today: introspection is the gateway to growth. By examining our decisions, we uncover patterns, biases, and opportunities for aligning with our true purpose, an idea that resonates with the Stoic principle of amor fati, love of fate. Concrete application: schedule a 10-minute nightly reflection before bed. Ask yourself, what went well? What could I improve? What did I learn about myself? Keep a journal. After a week, look for threads that indicate underlying values or recurring obstacles. This practice is a modern echo of the Spartan evening contemplation and Aztec night rite. Example of use: you're leading a project that's stuck. After an intense day, right? We need clearer deadlines and better communication. The next day, implement a stand-up meeting to clarify roles. The reflection led to a tangible improvement, reinforcing the power of introspection. Conclusion: the mirror of the gods is within you. By making reflection a daily habit, you cultivate the self-awareness necessary to live stoically, action guided by reason, not reaction. Call to action: try the nightly reflection for a week, like this video, and share your most surprising insight with us. Subscribe for more rituals that turn everyday life into an ongoing quest for self-mastery. Reflective question: what feedback did you give to yourself today, and how will that shape your next actions? Chapter 5. Title: The Forge of Resilience, Turning Failures into Strength. In Sparta, when a soldier was wounded, they did not retire. They were tended, trained, and returned to the line stronger. The Aztec people believed that the tilamakaska, the practice of weaving their own fate, was honed through repeated attempts, each thread becoming finer. These ancient stories teach us that failure is not the endpoint. It is a heat that forges courage and resilience. Stoic connection: Epictetus wrote, "It is not that we have little time, but we waste much." For him, setbacks were simply opportunities to practice virtue. The Spartan and Aztec mindset is a living proof. Every failure feeds the process of learning, enabling mastery. Implementing failure-friendly practice: create a failure log. When an experiment, strategy, or launch fails or underperforms, document what happened, why it failed, what you learned, and what you will do differently. Use this log not as a blame sheet but as a treasure chest of lessons. Example: your marketing campaign missed the target audience. Record: the segmentation was too broad. Learn: the community in District X had unique browsing habits. Next time, design a micro-campaign targeting that segment. The log becomes a manual for future success, echoing the Spartans' continual refinement and Aztecs' evolving weaving. Conclusion: the greatest mastery arises from enduring hardship with dignity. By embracing failure as a necessary spark, you cultivate a resilience that mirrors the Stoic belief. Adversity is a partner in learning, not an adversary. Call to action: drop a comment detailing one recent failure and the lesson you gleaned. Hit like if you're committed to turning setbacks into growth. Subscribe so we keep sharing ancient tools for modern triumph. Reflective question: in what way could reframing your latest failure as an opportunity change your next steps and mindset? Final conclusion: the Spartan Stoic mindset, an integration of disciplined training, courageous confrontation, gratitude for victories, introspective reflection, and an embrace of failure, offers a timeless blueprint for cultivating steadfast confidence. When we pair that blueprint with the rich rituals of the Aztecs, we add layers of community, purpose, and reverence for the journey. Stoicism remains an accessible ally. It teaches that the path to confidence is not about controlling the world, but controlling your judgments, reactions, and intentions. By aligning ancient practices with Stoic wisdom, you create a living, breathing ritual that can transform your personal and professional life. Remember, confidence is not an innate gift. It is a skill honed through daily habits, disciplined practice, and mindful reflection. Let the Spartan drills remind you of discipline, let the Aztec prayers anchor you in purpose, and let Stoicism guide you to peace amid chaos. Like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into ancient wisdom applied to modern living. Call to action. If you saw value in this script, hit the like button, share it with someone on a similar path, and subscribe so we can bring you more actionable lessons from history's greatest lessons. Reflective question. After embracing the Spartan Stoic mindset today, what is one first action you commit to taking that will begin to reshape your confidence?